Good morning. There is a power for good in the universe, and we can use it. And welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Pleasant Valley for those here as they wander on in, and also those on Facebook Live. It's always a joy to be with you. I am Reverend Pamella Geagan, and now it is my honor to introduce our wonderful Rev Lynn, who will do our opening with us.
Good morning, everybody. Well, our grand vision is awakening a humanity to its spiritual magnificence. And how we do that here at our center is teaching and demonstrating spiritual principles for living a full and abundant life in a welcoming and compassionate community. And just what it says. See, I'm not kidding. And we are a praying church, and we have the candles of faith. In the olden days, we used to actually light the candles. So we are now, metaphorically lighting the candles of faith. We believe that there's one power, one presence, one way of life, and that's all God. And we light the candles of faith to acknowledge all religions: Buddhism, Judaism, Sufism, the Baha'i, Christianity, all religions that step forward in love. There's that one fine thread that runs through all religions, and that fine thread is love. We are love, we come from love, and we honor the oneness within us all. And now it's my pleasure to reintroduce Reverend Pam with our quote for the day from Betty Ann.
Thanks, Rev Linny, as I affectionately call you. And again, from the heaven world, we're so grateful for Betty Ann's wisdom that still permeates the sanctuary. And it is a sanctuary. This year, 2023, just a side note, we'll be here 30 years in this wonderful place that has 30 years of prayers in it. So together, we can say this together: I am willing to commit my life to the attainment of my highest desires. As I dedicate myself to living fully, my life is right in God's good. And so it is. And now to support our talk today, which is, I wrote it was so long. But it was, are you dancing? Oh, and we're going to do one power, which is about embracing the allness of life. Thank you. You can start.
One power, one power, one power, one power, one power. There's one power invisible, and you see it everywhere and every day. One power indescribable, and you speak of it with every word you say. Mysterious until you know the truth, as simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angels' wings or heaven's door. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? It's the power of the love in you and me. One power, one power, one power, one power. We speak so many languages, different clothing, is only dangerous when we forget that in the heart we're all the same. We'll remember once we close our eyes to see that such distances were never meant to be. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, Hashem, or Heaven's Door. It's Muhammad, it's your mind, it's your soul, or it's your sign. It's the universe, it's music, Mother Earth, or Father Time. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? Whatever name you give it, it's the very air we breathe. Oh, it's the power of the love in you and me. One power, oh, one power is what we are. One power, one power, It's the moment of creation. It's an everlasting peace. It's the freedom of forgiveness. It's the sweetness of release. It's the joy of inspiration. It's the sunshine on your face. It's the birthright of all nations. It's the boundlessness of space. It's the beauty of a baby, the serenity of sleep. It's the anger we abandon, for it's love that's most deep. It's one power. It's one power. What we are is one power of the love that lives forever in you and me. It's the power of the love in you and me.
Missed that song. It's wonderful to hear that again. So this woke me up this morning. This song was the first song that I learned when I came into this teaching, and I'm mercifully not going to sing it. But if with your permission, instead of the opening treatment, this is a song regarding opening and receptivity to the truth that's going to be revealed today by Reverend Pam. So if we close our eyes, please. And as I close my eyes, I'm aware of a presence. And this presence that reminded me this morning of these wonderful, special words from a song. My eyes are open. Now I see. Spirit of truth revealed through me. My mind now holds the wonderful key that opens the door and sets me free. Joyously now love works through me. Ready, my God, thy joy to see. My eyes are open. Now I see. Spirit divine. So it is. And so it is. I get to introduce Alberto Del Pino.
You were correct. Thank you for being in the moment. Your music just opens my soul and my heart, and I feel like crying now. Thanks, Alberto. You'll have to tell us about what is that song?
It's called Geagan Shimor, and it's an Irish song.
Yeah, oh. And now it is my honor to introduce our wonderful What's the Buzz with Buzz Noe. Tell us what's happening, Buzz.
What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening. What's the buzz? Telling you what's Here are the announcements for today. This happens weekdays on Facebook Live. These daily morning meditations with Reverend Pam will allow you to thrive. Manifestation continues as this week's theme. It will allow you to manifest whatever you dream. Back again on 10:13, which is Wednesday night. A new Science of Mind class will make your day bright. It's based on the book by Dr. Dennis Merritt Jones entitled Redefining Moments Since Give Life's New Tones. It happens live in room 4 starting 7 p.m., so please do attend because this class is a gem. At 7 p.m. Thursdays on Facebook Live, our midweek spiritual uplift will boost your divine drive. Buzz Noe, that's me, will host this week's session. We're here, so let's cheer is the title and the theme for my uplifting lesson. At 4:30 p.m. on the fourth Sunday of the month. Oh, wait a minute, we're off the back to Lisa Coffey. Correct, 4:30 p.m. on the fourth Sunday of the month. Lisa Coffey will be hosting a class you will want. The wisdom of Vedanta enlightens our lives, thereby ensuring that our divine purpose thrives. It takes place on October 24th, live on Zoom. Her guest and the theme will both be announced soon. You can tune in to Lisa after our Sunday lesson, and Constant Contact will have the Zoom link for this uplifting session. When you entered today, you probably came through that door, which gave you a chance to see our bookstore. There are great gifts and books there, so please come and explore. And today there's $1 off the price of anything in the store. And keep in mind our center is always here for you. Please let us know what we can do. The spiritual treatment that we provide will reveal your perfection and allow you to thrive. You can always leave a request by phone or send us an email from wherever you roam. How wonderful to once again meet here live in our center that is dedicated to help us all thrive. Your loving donations keep our center going so we can be here to keep your wellness flowing. Later we will list the online ways to give so you can donate here or from wherever you live. 2 other places where you can lend a hand. Please do give them whatever you can. Ventura County Rescue Mission provides the homeless with much good, and the Ventura County Food Share feeds the needy in our hood. And keep in mind, our center is part of Ralph's Community Contribution Program. A portion of whatever you spend at the store gives our center a small donation or more. So please do sign up or simply renew, and Ralph's will contribute to us at no cost to you. Our center's code number is JE859, and you can sign up at the store or you can do it online. Another way, we're back to Amazon Smile, because another way to help our center for a while is to shop online using Amazon Smile. When you complete your purchase for the items you got, it'll donate to our center right on the spot. And finally, tomorrow we celebrate Christopher Columbus Day and the indigenous people who welcomed us to all stay. And this is up here because tomorrow is Columbus Day officially, but it also has been talked about as being Indigenous People Day because some people felt that Christopher Columbus was an insult to the indigenous people here. But let's face facts, we're here, and we wouldn't be here if hadn't come across from Europe and showed us where this place was, and we wouldn't be here if the indigenous people that were here didn't welcome us and help us find a way to survive and be happy and healthy here. So let's celebrate them all tomorrow. Thank you all, and that's it for the announcements, all I have to say. Now here's Alberto Del with some nice music to play.
So good morning, everybody. The first song I play was a song by the famous Irish composer, Turlough Carolan. And the name of the song was Geagan, which in Gaelic means the battle between the little fairies and the big fairies. And I think somehow it fits with the theme of today. According to Lynn and to other people in here, we discussed what that meant, today's theme. And I think it's about really what you want to drive your life, whether it's the pain and that's painful right there. Whether it's the pain or the joys in your life that drive your future, your present too. And so that's supposedly what that song, which by the way was the first song that Turlough Carolan wrote in 1685. The second song that I'm going to play today, it's a gavotte. A gavotte is a type of music. It's a style of music, and it's a Scottish song, again from 1612. And the only way the only reason why we know what this song is because we have a manuscript of a girl, and her name was Jane Pickering, and she was a Scottish girl. And the reason why she wrote this, why we have this music, is because this little manuscript that we have was her book of songs that she loved. And it was something that she wrote down in tablature. That was what the notation at the time was for lute. And we know that she played lute. We don't know who her teacher was, but she was a girl that loved this type of music and wrote down all the songs that she loved in order to remember them forever. And if it wasn't for this little book that we have with about 50 songs in there, all this music would be lost today. You know, as you know, and it's an obvious fact, they didn't record music back then. So everything is lost except for the few things that are written down. And this is one of them, and it's called the Gavotte, the Scottish Gavotte.
Thank you so much, Alberto. That was lovely. I could actually, you were talking about the fairies and all. I could actually imagine young girls dancing to that one. So thank you. Thank you. So I'm Pamela Bailey. I'm the lead practitioner here. And so first I would like all the other practitioners to stand up and identify yourselves, please.
I'm his idiot, Buzz Miller.
All right. Well, as you see, we have quite an assortment of personalities on our practitioner team here. So thank you all. And we do. Pam used to say that we study forever in order to be able to pray with you. And we do. We practice knowing the truth at a level where it is pervasive. So this month, our theme is going further together. I love Pam's talk for today, which is, are you dancing with the dream and the vision or with the enemy? So we have all these little dances that Alberto's playing. It's perfect. And yeah, we get to choose. And of course, we get to choose who we create those people are. Although the enemy usually is that one that's surrounded by fear and jealousy and things like that. So I would like to share a few quotes here. The first one is from Emerson, from his self-reliance essay. And he says, nothing at last is sacred, but the integrity of your own mind. Absolve you to yourself, and you shall have the suffrage of the world. So that's Ralph Waldo Emerson. And from one of my favorite authors who wrote A Wrinkle in Time, Madeleine L'Engle, we can do nothing that does not affect other people, no matter how loudly we say, it's my own business. And the last one is, and this one's from Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, who of course was the author of many books and articles on death and dying, and not in a morbid sense, but in a very enlightened sense. It's only when we truly know and understand that we have a limited time on earth that we begin to live every day to the fullest, as if it were the only one we had. So, with those thoughts, let us please have a centering prayer. And if you would, whatever position you feel comfortable, to have that moment, that time of communion with the one. And let's just take like 3 deep breaths in and out and in and out and in and out. And here in this moment, this perfect moment as we're gathered here together in our common beliefs and in our friendship and on this path together, going further, knowing that there is just that one God, that one presence, that one spirit that is all and unifies all. And so as I'm standing here right now, I am an essential part of that oneness, for that oneness is necessarily all. And as I contemplate that, and this notion of together and sharing a dream and a vision, I know that as part of that, as I am that which God is, because it's all that one sacred, powerful mind, as I contemplate that, and I look at what is it I dance with? What is it I think about? What is it I talk about? And what is it that my life shows me doing? And so as I look at the choice, if the enemy were to come and ask and be obvious, of course I would say no thank you. However, I know that there's this subtlety to it. And so this day I declare that I choose consciously to dance with that dream, to dance with the vision, to share it, to live it, to speak it, to share it, and to empower others and invite them to join me in whatever it is that's my dream. Because once again, in this notion of further together, the more I share my dream, the more public I am about it, and the more people who are involved, the greater it is and the greater blessing it is to all. So today, committed to being a blessing and committed to dancing with the vision and allowing what is to be, and still having that vision and still being committed to that something that's greater and that includes all. That is my prayer for today, and I give thanks for the ability to pray that prayer, and I give thanks for each and every person here, and that we are here living a vision and a dream. And in that gratitude, I release this treatment, and together we say, and so it is. And now, once again, I have the pleasure, we all get to do this today, of introducing the wonderful Alberto.
Thank you, Pamela. So the third song at this point, the third song that I'm playing today, it's okay, that's fine, that's fine. So the third song, it's another song from the same book of Jane Pickering. And of course, she gave very short titles to her songs. We don't really know what these songs were titled. But she called the other one the gavotte, the Scottish gavotte. And this one is just called the bourrée. And the bourrée, again, it's a style of music that was very popular at the time. So we're talking about the 17th century, the beginning of the 17th century. 1605 is when the book is written by Jane. So here we go with the bourrée.
And so are you. God incarnate. Oh, we owe you a Sunday of music. Thank you for being so flexible and in the moment, Alberto, and the joy and beauty you bring. So on this Sunday, in this season of like Halloween and the Day of the Dead, I do have I literally opened up my email. Little kids coming to the door, and they turn off all their lights. Kitchen, and all of a sudden the pounding, knock, 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 and it won't go away. And so the husband says, "Go away," and still the knocking continues. And the wife says, "Okay, you have to go out and tell them to go away and never come back and leave us alone." And so it's okay, and he opens the door and he steps outside, and she hears words, and then he comes back in, and she says, "Congratulations, you did that." And he said, "Yes, but I don't think your mother's ever going to speak to me again." So my talk title came from not only CSL Home's theme this month, which is going further together, but also with their specific suggestion, share the dream through, and it also came through manifestation meditations, which I do at 9 a.m. for the rest of this month, based on Janet Connor's book, The Lotus and the Lily, and also from the experiences and the wisdom and the very human experiences of Jesus and Krishna, and of all people, Amy Simple McPherson. And I'll weave these all together magically. Does everybody know? Oh, and Perry Mason. We can't forget Perry Mason in there too. Does anybody know who Amy? Do you all know who Amy Simple McPherson is? Yeah. Some of you don't. She founded the Foursquare Gospel Church in the 1920s and 30s. She was gorgeous. She was flamboyant. She was connected. She started speaking in tongues, and she was a star in her own time, reaching around the world with her radio program. So our founder, Ernest Holmes, said, "We are open at the top with space for both dream and vision. This means we know dreams can come into reality when we choose to step up into the void." What is it that takes us to integrate this incredible, enormous undertaking? It is the opening up to the seeing and integrating the wholeness of all situations into understanding of how we are connected. So how do we know whether we're dancing with the dream in our vision or dancing with an enemy, so to speak, that which takes away from our allness, our greatness? Both lie in the great beyond within, as I always say, going into the great beyond within that tells us all, in our oneness, in that allness that is deep inside us. But what does that mean, too? I mean, what is that all great beyond within and the allness within us? And I use the word dancing in this title because it's a metaphor for the way we interact with our own divine source, our partners, with our jobs, and with all the experience life brings us. We all are doing different steps, and our job is kind of to go into the flow and to do those dance steps, not only the ones you love and know, but also to open up to new dance steps. So how do we know we're doing the right steps? We know because we bring greater good into the lives of all that we're around. And Yogi Berra, I'm sure you've heard this one over and over again, introduced the great koan, the great paradox, when he wrote, "When you come to the fork in the road, take it." So this is interesting. In these meditations I'm doing, I find them extremely powerful for me. And it ends in a month after the month of a soul-searching day where you turn off all the phones, you set up your own little altar and do everything. So in one of my meditations, I am, first of all, it is revealed through my meditation in the deep beyond within what I would like most of all right at this point in time. And then you question it. You go, well, I don't know. And it's finishing writing a screenplay I started long ago, and it's called Hollywood to Hallelujah. So I think it's perfect. I was born in Hollywood, and I ended up a minister. And I also worked in the studios for years and years and years, mainly in production. I was behind the camera for a little bit, but I was not happy there at all. So, nor were the people probably watching me at that point in time, too. So now, in that humanness, when we look and we take these dance steps in our humanness, the road in my meditation experience, I want to go back to that. I said, should I be doing this? And the answer I got was, if you say so. And I thought, we're back to take the fork in the road. In other words, it's up to me to decide. And in our humanness, we are always free to choose which road we take. But the challenging steps, when we come to them, how do we deal with those in our lives? On this eternal path of, I say, coming back to Nirvana, we're always at choice to take the high road or the low road. And always there is the challenges, and they're not there to bring us down and destroy us. They're there to assist us and awaken us in our own spiritual awareness, how to do our own dance steps. But how do we know if we should be waltzing or doing the salsa? We don't know what lies within us until we connect to us at that deeper form. And when we take that direction, whatever we decide, because we are at free will, we have free will, free choice in all of this. And when we take that fork in the road, we don't know whether or not it is the high road or low road sometimes. We just know that we want to be clear. Well, I have a news flash. There's nothing wrong with us. There's nothing wrong with the way the universe works or how we work with the universe. It's as simple as that. We are in the flow when we want to be in the flow. And how do we choose to dance with what is offered to us, and how we are given these opportunities to go deeper and rise higher? We possess everything we need to create a life of love and happiness, joy and purpose. We were born perfectly made, straight from the factory, I say. We are the perfect Model A, the Model T, the Tesla. We are it all in that evolutionary process. And when we were built in that open opportunity to be enlightened by that which has always been and always will be. And in this evolutionary process, it's up to us to open up to it and see it flow in and through and as us. But we're human. And in our humanness, we forget. We forget that we are the divine many, many times on this road that takes twists and turns all the way around. Some of the greatest saints, I say, face continuing challenges in experiencing their divinity. And just like us, they considered what godlike process was in this for them. And when one of them, and I've got, these were childhood stories and really evolutionary stories of Krishna. I'm not going to go into all of the lineage of Krishna, but he was a Hindu, and Hindu is the oldest written religion that we know of in the past, the only written religion that faith-based. And Krishna came in, and he was all of the evolutionary process, from the water beings to the land amphibians, all the way up. He was what they considered the wholeness of the God itself, and that is why. And so Hinduism talks about this evolutionary process, and I'm not going to spend time. You can look it up on your own. But when people were in the presence of Krishna, even as a child, he was also very colorful. He was blue. I mean, you can't miss him in all of the. And I asked I literally went to India when I was in India, and I asked everybody, why is Krishna blue? And they said, we don't know. I come home and I ask Lisa Coffey, who is our Vedanta teacher here, or teaches or allows us to open up to Vedantism, and she said, because he's the closest thing to heaven. So he is that God incarnation, and that is why he is always depicted as blue. Krishna never claimed his divinity. He was very, very human. but the people around him saw it, and that complete incarnation of the divine was within him. They would describe and talk about all the different aspects of who he was. They would describe him as the irrepressible child. He was a terrible prankster. Others, they said he was an enchanting flute player, a graceful dancer, irresistible lover. Others, a truly valiant warrior and a vanquisher of his foes. A man who left a trail of broken hearts in every home. He was married over 1,600 times by different accounts. He was a busy guy. He was a very, very busy guy. But the reason he was married over 1,600 times is it traces back to he was trying to lift these people out of slavery, these women out of slavery. And that's the only way he could do it, is by marrying them. They saw him as a valiant warrior, a vanquisher of his foes. I already said this. Also, he was a statesman and a yogi of the highest order. He was all those and more. But in this tapestry, like all of us, in this humanness, those who were envious of his power and his charisma, and he was a healer also. Those descriptions, all that I just said, were Krishna and more, and yet those who were jealous of him wanted to bring him down, wanted to not let him express his highest and best, or let him know that he was the highest and best. And so they would say, Krishna is a smiling rogue. He can eat, sing, and dance and make love. He can fight. He can gossip with old men and women and play with the children. Who says he's God? He's more human than he is God. So it's been said that in this time, he was also a great healer. There was a boy in the Indian mountains that had been afflicted with a terrible ailment that left him crippled, and Krishna went up, and there are reports of this, and healed him. He also was recounted that when he healed him, that not only he walked, but this boy said, Krishna is God. It is true. He is God. So his uncle also said he was a saintly being. When I look at him, I see the sun, the moon, the 7 stars whirling around him when he speaks. He sounds like the voice of the eternal. If there's hope in the world, it is Krishna. And his presence in the people who ever you spoke that was around him, those who were charmed by him, so to speak, and felt his power, said he brings hope to everyone here. He brings joy to everyone here. So different people saw him, the different aspects of him, and that is what we do. We see the different aspects of everybody in our life, and including those we think are the saints and the sinners. We have this woven pattern that all works in our humanness to bring us to that fork in the road, those new dance steps, and to embrace them. And now we're going to go to Jesus. And a lot of these are from stories about Jesus that were beyond the Bible. He was mentioned in writings when he was a child. And in these stories, the portrait of Jesus is a mixture of transcendent and bountiful personality, and at the same time, he acts like I'm quoting this, I did not write this, an ornery brat and brat. Vengeful little brat is what it said. The combination is typical for the clear idea of both his humanity and his divinity. There's the story about Jesus he finds the purest water, and he finds the perfect dirt, and he makes 12 beautiful birds out of clay, and he sets them free, and they're singing. And these birds are absolutely gorgeous. And then someone comes along and they're jealous, and they want to prove that this is not a gift from God, that this is just something some kid made. And so in his vengefulness, he set the birds, he brought them to life, and they set free, and they were chirping and happy and left to prove that he was. There's another story about playing. This was harsh. There was another story playing outside his home where he made, again, he was a water boy, I guess. He made pools of water, and what happened is some boys came along and they tried to destroy the pools, so he dried up the water, and And he told this boy, he said, "You're not going away, and you shall dry. You're not going to ruin my water pools, and you're going to dry up like a stick." And sure enough, the boy died. I mean, from dehydration. These are these stories of the Apocryphy that I read them from. And so, of course, the family went to Joseph and Mary. They were devastated, and they admonished him. And Jesus knocked at the boy's backside. And he said, "You have to bring him back to life." So what did Jesus do? He kicked him in the butt and brought him to life. These are these stories. You can look them up. I did not make these things up. So many people came at that time. And of course, because the stories of Jesus, every word out of his mouth was so powerful, they said no matter what he says, it is the word of God, and it happens. He is so powerful, and he is that connection with the divine. He is the God incarnate, so to speak. And so when then of course, as older, we all know the story of his anger. He was not a cheap date at all. He was not this just pure loving person. He had principles, and he stood strong on his ground. And one like the demonstrating his temper at the temple of God, when he was with the money changers, and he cast all the money changers out of the temple, turned over all the tables. This is what is written. And he said, "In my house there shall be in my house of prayer there shall be no money changes and no thievery at all. I am getting rid of this den of thieves," and destroyed the temple at that time. He was also that interwoven human being, bringing the goodness and the highness to all. So now we come to Amy Simple McPherson. So I just watched, I don't know if anybody else has seen this series, but if you get HBO Max or want it, watch Perry Mason. It's the new Perry Mason, and the star of it is, it's before the Perry Masons came on television and were so popular in the 50s and 60s. And I just found these old Perry Masons, and I love them. I've been watching them. They've been so incredible, these shows from the 50s and 60s. But here comes the new Perry Mason. And I'm not saying it's easy, but it was created, these stories created by Earl Stanley Gardner, who was in Ventura. He lived in Ventura. Is set in the 20s and 30s in Hollywood, Los Angeles. So for those Perry Mason fans, the characters Perry, Della Street, Paul Drake, Hamilton Berger, along with Amy Simple McPherson, hints of the Lindbergh baby kidnapping are all brilliantly woven together into this story. These multidimensional characters who are mirrors of some of our holiest saints. Amy Simple McPherson not only is in real life was a healer. She was credited with healing, making people stand up and walk in her temple. And by the way, that's where Angel's Flight is. It goes up to her temple in Los Angeles, and it's been restored, and it's lovely. It's really a fun place to visit. But in real life, she was credited with healing and also bringing a kidnapped baby boy back from the grave, back to life, and delivered back into his mother's arms. There's a lot of controversy around this. I wonder why. Have a dead baby come back to life in your arm. And when the elated mother uncovers the baby's face and looks at the baby, she says the first thing she says is she's so besotted and in love and happy to have this baby back in her arms. But she said, "My Charlie had blue eyes. This baby has brown eyes." And you can see the love she already has for this baby. And when Amy Simple McPherson is confronted with the baby switch, because clearly it was like a baby switch here, Amy Simple McPherson says, she got her baby, didn't she? And so we're back at the fork in the road. She gave this woman hope and happiness through another baby. Who knows where she got the baby? But a meaning that the miracle, who bought it for. I was adopted. I always said, this is a side note, my sister and I were adopted. I had older parents. This is why I know about Amy Simple McPherson to begin with. My mom was 50 when I was born. Anyway, when I always said I didn't have a time clock, and I did have my babies later, because you just went to the store and bought them, I thought. I thought you didn't have to make your own. You could just go out to the store and I'll have one of those and one of those. And I was a Hollywood adopted baby too. So when confronted by all of this, we see that the miracle did occur. It just didn't occur like everybody had expected it to occur. So we are not two-dimensional characters, just like these people. We are interwoven from the beginning of our evolutionary beginnings to know all about life and to experience all sides of life so that we can make choices on what dance steps we want. We are all unique expressions in our dance style and our music style and everything else. And it takes absolutely us to pick up this mantle and share our dance and joy, do our part in the world for the higher expression of spirit through our actions. And I've always been told, and I believe, that we're here to give God a good time. So when we dance with playfulness with God, from God, and integrate that dance into our awareness, our imagination, our memory, and our life, we then have the joy of bringing who we are, the light of who we are, into the world. Then you're willing also to dance with the one that you love. You're willing to dance into the last moment of your death. You're willing to dance with the enemy. You're willing to dance with all of life itself. This means not only thinking we are one, but living as one. When we acknowledge and recognize the oneness in the everything is, and the diversity and the richness of that beautifully woven, colorful tapestry of our own spiritual communities, we bring together elders with youth, black and white, LGBT and TQ, and straight, and work collectively on projects. And then we begin to become witnesses to the greatest light that shines in and through and as us. And when it comes to forks in the road, take one. But first, listen to the music that calls to you in your heart, for the heart always knows the answer that leads us to the next dance steps into the sacred integrity of our own hearts and minds. So I close with an affirmation. I'll say it, and then we'll say it together. I am my dreams and vision, and made of the stuff of spirit itself. So together, I am my dreams and vision, and made of the stuff of spirit itself. And so it is. And so it is. Speaking of spirit, Alberto, take it. Thank you.
I always say that my career as a guitar player is half of the time spent tuning this guitar and the rest of the time playing. Unfortunately, that's the nature of this instrument.
And well worth it. You get the joke.
All right. So the next song, it's a song that it's a modern song, and it was written by Johnny Mitchell. And the title of the song, which I think it's pretty consistent with what you just talked about, Pam, is Both Sides Now. And this is my rendition of it.
So nice for you all to be here for the Alberto show today. Okay, will the ushers please come forward? The ushers. Oh, we have two lovely ushers. The usherettes. And we can say this together. Together. Divine love blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and so it is, and that's the way it is. Thank you. Thank you, ushers. And let's have a closing prayer. We've learned so much today, so let's bring that all in this moment and see how we're going to use what we've learned in our week. Let's close our eyes, please. And in this consciousness of community and oneness with Source, oneness with this beautiful spiritual divine family in this sanctuary this morning. I am aware of a presence that loves, guides, directs, inspires, enthuses me to step forward in my life with all of these wonderful lessons that I've learned today. And that I'm always a choice. I can decide who I want to be, how I want to be, and bring those people into my life that expand that and that enthuse me and inspire me. And those people in my life that I can bring all of my gifts to. That's my choice. And my choice then, because I know how I do anything is how I do everything, is to love everyone on my pathway. Everyone. All life. And I know that when there is a fork in the road, I'll take it, whatever there is, before me, to guide me, to lead me into the nowness that I am, the expression of God in all that I think, say, and do. I'll bring all of these truths into my week. And for these truths, I am so grateful, knowing that I'm one with Source, one with all life, that I'm always a choice, and I always make the right choice. There is no other choice but to be. I release these loving truths into the law of mind. I allow divine mind to take care of the details while I enjoy my beautiful, wonderful, expressive life. And together we say, and so it is. And so it is time for song. Crank it up.
We'll hide the mics. You may stand or sit, whatever you like to sing the peace song. I miss
to me right now. I know it in my mind. I feel it in my body. I